Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and I hope that you're all having a really great weekend. Today in the video, I want to talk about something that's not really mentioned a lot. Now, because we're getting towards the end of April, I want to do a little bit of a recap. I want to do a comparison between this month of April and last month of March. I want to kind of share this with all of you because you guys know that I cover events basically on a daily, weekly basis. And I want to go over all of that. And I'm pretty sure, my gut feeling is that this has been the best month, and this is going to sound crazy, I know, the best month that Scopely and Marvel Strike Force has ever had to date. I honestly think that way. No, I have not been kidnapped by Scopely. No, I'm not going to blink twice. I'm going to try not to. And I legitimately believe that some of the events that we've got this month with Invaders compared to past months have actually been some of the best that we've ever had. So we're going to break that down. We're going to talk about the Invaders team. We're going to talk about this month and last month and all of that. And hopefully you might get some good opinions actually out of this from not just from me, hopefully in the comments section as well. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Now, I do want to start here. And this is the Iron Fist preview event. And by and large, I think these have been some of the best things to come to the game. Now, there is a little caveat here, is that this replaced event campaigns, right? And we, for the most part, for a good, since the game came out, we had event campaigns. And so I didn't like the fact that they did remove these for the most part. Like, we didn't have one last month, and now this has kind of replaced that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that part of it. But I actually do like these preview events because of what we get. And whether or not you have the challenge mode unlocked or you're doing the story, there is stuff that you can get as you go through it. And that part is good. Like, you can get XP. You get training orb fragments was a huge issue for the community, that a lot of people were saying that, there just was not enough training mods out there. Now, me, myself, I actually never really ran into this problem, but I know that a lot of you did. And so this has been a really good way to farm this kind of stuff every single day. And now, I know that you do need the new character for each of the preview events to be able to run the challenge mode, but, you are able to get them unlocked, maybe not at the beginning when it first starts, but usually throughout, maybe about halfway through the event, you can still get them unlocked to do the challenge mode. And, it was made to me pretty clear very early on, especially from Community Manager Archangel, that that would be the case. And I'm glad that what he said actually followed through with Scopely. So in this case that, I do have the farming going on for Iron Fist's preview event. So we get training orb fragments, we get some orange elites, we get some teal. Honestly, teal gear radar. This is quite a bit. 325 for 10 energy, and even some armory 16s. Like, there's some really good stuff in here. Now, if you're not quite able to do that, there is still the story mode, and you still get some stuff. It's not as good as the challenge, but obviously because it requires gear tier 13, you're obviously not getting as much. You're getting some training orbs, you're getting some purple gear instead. You're still getting the orange elite and some lesser ISO orb fragments. So again, not as good as the challenge, but they've been doing 4 of the, they've had one for every character, I think, at this point. But one thing that I do want to point out is that in the challenge mode, now it's not there anymore, but there were the Kree minion shards, you guys might remember. So for the Captain America World War II event, I believe it was 50 shards. And then for every other character, there was 100 shards for each Kree minion. And so I don't know if it was 250 or 350 Kree minion shards, but it was a lot. And so that was really great because Nick Fury is a character that you need for this team. And a lot of people, everyone, hates farming Kree minions. So this was an amazing way for those people to get to like 4 or 5 star. Honestly, I don't remember how many shards, but it was a crap ton of shards out of the challenge mode, so that people didn't need to farm this. And I think this was a really player-friendly decision. And I had to go over this because I want to kind of give them credit where credit is due. I'm not immune. I'm more than happy to give them props when they do something good, and that was a good thing in my opinion for the player base, was giving those Kree minion shards. So with all of these for like the last month or so that we've been running, it's been a great way to get training orb fragments. Now, what's interesting, of course, is that those training orb fragments are then used for training orbs to open for some of the events that we've had recently, and we're going to get to that as well. But I just really wanted to point that out because I thought it was one of the most positive changes that happened to this game. One thing that I didn't like, though, I'll have to say that right up front, but it doesn't bother me that much, is things like this. Although it only happened like once, I believe there's this one for Firestar now, but one for Cap World War II. I don't think I saw one for the other characters, I don't believe, so that wasn't too bad. I just wanted to go over that really quick because I thought that was a really great improvement for this month anyways. So now I want to kind of jump over, it's actually very quickly, I want to talk about my Invaders team, because I want to go over some of the character shards. I know we're kind of still mid Iron Fist at this point, but I do want to kind of go over the Invaders team in terms of what I have for shards. Now, there is some caveats here. I did pull about 100 shards for Bucky, so I probably would have been about a mid 4-star at this point, or low 4-star, but nonetheless, if I hadn't have done that. And Iron Fist, I'm still hoarding my orbs, so I haven't opened those yet, so I think I'll probably end up like a 4.5-star. If I get really lucky when I open my orbs, maybe I'll get 5-star. Union Jack is about 210 shards. That's what I have so far. I don't know if there's any more in some of the milestones upcoming. And then Cap, I did get to 4-star. Not quite to 5-star, but that's okay. So my goal for all of new characters is at least a 4-star. That's where I think a good sort of range is. Now, the difference between Invaders and kind of how and maybe Rebirth too, and how some of the other teams in the past were, is that we've been getting a slow drip. We're not getting all of the shards up front. We're getting some shards in the main event, and then we're getting other shards throughout. So I'm sure you guys saw that when we got a 2-star unlock for Cap, and then we were kind of getting slow drip shards in different events as we go along. So this is a little bit different from what things were in the past. Before, things were very front loaded, that we would get maybe a 3-4-star up front and then nothing else. Now we're getting like a 3-star, and then we're getting slow drips to get us to 4-star along the way. I don't really mind because they're still functionable at 3-star, but I personally prefer it when I have my characters at 4-star. The red star stat upgrades are significant at 4-star in my opinion. Especially 4 red and 5 red, that I do want to get those. Obviously, I want to get those shards. I don't mind it in this way as long as I know that it's coming. And just because I often compare Invaders with Rebirth, I kind of want to go over that as well. We're, I don't know, 3 or 4 months on from Rebirth at this point. I think they were like January, February. And so what shards am I at there? Now, keep in mind the caveat, the course that I did pull some core orbs for Agent Venom. He is, though, in the Tadano Mac orb coming up pretty soon. So most of you should have a good chance of getting... you should probably already have 4-star Agent Venom, I would think, at this point. Or will be able to with the Tadano Mac orbs. US Agent, I got a lot of shards for him, and that was just through random events. Captain Carter, also almost 6-star. So as far as newer characters go, with the exception of Agent Venom, because he was a crap event, we all know that. It was really frustrating, actually. But they've been able to kind of like find ways to give us more shards, for better or for worse, on Agent Venom. But Captain Carter and US Agent, I'm almost 6-star. And so given that those characters were, and I did not pull core orbs for them, and given that those characters were about 3 to 4 months ago, in January, mid-January, late January, I don't remember now, that's pretty good. It's only about 3 months on then, and I already have them almost a 6-star. So I think actually character releases are improving. It's just different than what we're used to. It's not that immediate, like 4-star right away. It's kind of like 3-star in a bit, and then slowly it kind of goes on and gets a little bit better as time progresses. Now, does this kind of change the way we get farmability? Now that we have characters up to 5-star or so, over time, does that mean we're not getting the farmability? And I guess that's the next question. Does that matter for the community? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below, how you feel about the current way the characters are being released, the way that we're getting shard gains for these characters, and whether this is okay, what we have right now is okay for you guys, or if you just want to see that quicker farmability, maybe 4 months on, less than 6 months, hopefully, or what bothers you, because I'd be very interested to know. So now that we've gone over both Invaders and Rebirth, I kind of want to just go over the events that we had over the last month. And I'm going to start, obviously, with what we had this month with April. And so we started the month off with Angel's Army. I also want to kind of take a look at how you get points for these events, but also how easy it was. For the most part, honestly, I think that getting the event item was not a struggle for any of these events. I can't remember an event that I was like, this is shit. Like, I'm pretty sure that for the most part, getting the event item was very easy for the majority of these events, and we'll see as we go along. So Angel's Army was spend campaign energy and earn Blitz credits. The limit was like 75k, so that's well over the event item requirement. So that one was pretty easy there. Evil Invasion This was an interesting one. 79,000 points for the event item. Gold orbs. This was the first time, I think, that they brought back the orb opening stuff. This was opening gold orbs. You didn't actually need to open the gold orbs, really, in order to get the event item, which is fine. And I'm okay with these kind of events where you're not required to hoard the orbs in order to actually complete the event item. So I am glad 79,000. We were able to do that with the raids, some of the invader points as well, and then the alliance credits. So that was worth about 50,000 for the alliance credits, plus the 50,000 from the raids was about 100,000, and that was over the event item, and that was fine. Freedom Fighters, Blitz and Power Cores. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Power Core spending events. However, you didn't actually really need to do that as far as I'm aware. This was one of the main Union Jack additional shard events, so you needed to get to 58,000. And that was largely pretty easy to do. You just needed to battle in Blitz, which was great. You know, we didn't need to win, we just needed to battle, and the limits was 75k, so that was very easy to accomplish. Some of these web milestones I'm going to skip over because they're just associated with the other ones. The Egg Hunt milestone, Campaign Energy, and Alliance Credits. Again, very easy mechanics. Not really that hard there. Masters of Judgment is what it is. That was the Alliance-based thing. Brother in Arms, this was the Bucky event. So Raids, Campaign Energy, and Training Orbs. So again, the Training Orbs weren't necessary to get to the event milestone, the event item rather. But it did help you that if you had them sitting around, that you could use those to get you towards, you know, the higher milestones or whatnot, you know. And so what I'm saying is that you didn't need to do these things in order to get the event item, which is typically the goal for most of us, you know, regular players. I would think is just to get the event item, you know, get 750k by the end of the month, and then if you really want to push more, there is that availability, I suppose, via orbs or whatever. Shopping spree, that one, I didn't mind that. Again, you didn't really need to open the gold orbs to complete the event item. It was a bit of a weird one, I think, that because what they offered you was not always great value from your gold and your cores. But, you know, there was a variety of different ways that you could actually do this stuff. Radioactive Run, Special Offensive. I think this one, it was not great because it was spend campaign energy, earn raid credits, and I believe what you got out of this was not great. So I would have said that Special Offensive was probably one of their worst ones because you were not, this required you to hoard your raid inbox, and I don't like that part. I don't like it when you need to hoard raid inbox to get to a decent level. Now I don't know if you actually you didn't need to do that. There was no event item. Sorry, I forgot. There was no event item attached to that, so that's probably why they did that. It was a bonus event. It gave additional shards for characters you needed, but yes, you did need to hoard for that. I don't like hoarding mechanics, but as long as the hoarding mechanic does not make it so you can't get the event item, which this did not have, then that one was okay personally. And then obviously we're on the Immortal Invader event just now for Iron Fist, and actually I don't think it's all that bad. Now, I've changed my average orb fragments per blitz win because I think that we're getting a lot more per rotation than what I had originally anticipated. I was being pretty conservative by saying it was 45 or 40 average fragments per blitz win because there was a minimum drop of 25, but it doesn't have the minimum. That's wrong too. So it's minimum drop of 25, not 15 like they used to have. So I think they buffed things a little bit because I was talking to a lot of people, and maybe this is just, you know, circumstantial, but, you know, they were saying that you were getting, some people were getting 2,500 to like 3,500 per average blitz rotation. I know there's going to be a range, but it did feel on a whole a little bit better. And so even if you just change this from 45 to 65 fragments per blitz win, the amount of shards that you can get for the characters is quite substantial. So now we're kind of looking at, like, for 4 rotations daily that you're getting about a 3.5 star kind of character. 6 rotations daily is, you know, possibly over 4 star, and 8 rotations daily is like 4.5 star. So, you know, for me, I have missed some of my blitz rotations due to Lord of the Rings being out now, but nonetheless, you know, I have been able to get what I wanted to for Iron Fist, which is going to be at least a 4 star, and I'm going to be happy with that no matter what I end up with. So that was April. Now we had March. Now some people might forget March. A lot of March was Masters of Evil. A good portion of that was Masters of Evil, and we had the Return to the Shadows. Now this one was kind of crap. Now, okay, so this was gold orbs here as well, but this one was worse because this one had mistakes. I remember that there was compensation required for Return to the Shadows, and so that one wasn't super great. Historic Encounter, This was Kree Commando, and so the March month, maybe this is not hard to beat. The March was the anniversary month, and this was like the worst anniversary and month that I could think of. So maybe comparing April to March isn't fair, but I want to do this every single month towards the end of the month. Just kind of recap, see if things are going up or if things are going down. So Historic Encounter, this was the Creek of the Minerva event campaign. A lot of this required to spend additional cores on energy for these crappy event campaigns, which were not very good. Charging Station, earning power cores, that was an awful event. I did not like that one bit at all. I thought it was terrible. Cold Storage, earn Cosmic Crucible credits. I didn't like that either because it required a lot of hoarding Cosmic Crucible credits from the week before for this, so that was really stupid too. Luck of Spring, spend campaign energy and alliance credits. Sounds fine. I don't remember too deeply, but in terms of what you had to do, didn't seem that bad. To the Moon, this was the Moonstone event here. ISO 8 energy, earn Blitz credits. Now, I don't really like these earn events because it does require you to keep your resources in your inbox, your Blitz credits and your milestones, that kind of thing. And I don't really like that. So I didn't see really any of that in April, which is a big plus for me. And I hope that they kind of shy away from this going forward as well. The Strike Celebration, spend cores, and raid battles with Rebirth Invaders points as well. Not too bad there, but again, there was something about this, and just because I want to do check towards the end of February, I know this is not about February, but this was the He Who Remains event for Kang, and Kang felt a lot worse than it did right now for Immortal Iron Fist. I think that's because of the different things that were involved outside of the Blitz for this event. So for Kang, it was Blitz, but it was also Power Cores and Crucible. The Power Core element, I believe, did add a decent chunk of points into that main event milestone, so maybe that's why I was a little bit salty about that one. But I think I'm going to walk away with more Iron Fist shards than I would have for Kang. I did pull Core Orbs, I'm pretty sure, for Kang as well, because I knew this was going to be like awful, so that's why I did that, and he was going to be a very good character. But some of these other events were not super stellar, even in February as well. March was obviously the worst. I think that we went up. It was okay for February, and then it went down for March, and then now we're back up again for April. But I think that things actually went pretty well this month. Honestly, I have to say that they've done a really good job on their events this month, and I hope that going into May, that it's also at least equally good and not worse like the month of March was. So that's just my opinion. I would love to know in the comments down below what your thoughts are about events and how the state of the game is with regards to events, with regards to character releases, especially with the recent teams. We had Rebirth, we had Masters of Evil, and then we had Invaders now in terms of, broader teams that have come out. And I think I'm broadly happy with that. I'm just going to end really quickly on Masters of Evil. Now, there was 4 new characters with that. It's okay. I have a 4-star Observing Man. I'm pretty sure I didn't spend any core orbs on him. A 4.5-star Moonstone, 4-star Titania. So they were a 4-star team for me. Now, it didn't come right away. It came like later on. I think we were getting shards, drip drop shards along the way as well. But that's my free-to-play goal. If we can get a 4-star free-to-play, then I'm fine with that. Because obviously spenders need to have things to spend on, and I realize, I'm only going to get so far without spending. So that's perfectly fine for me. That's the end of this video, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and healthy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend as well. And I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.